Good evening, everybody. Um, I can admit that I'm not a likely person, and a lot of people would be surprised that I'm on YouTube. But I tell them, and I tell all of you out there, if you got a vision, if you got a dream, you just got to go for it. You will never know how good at something you are or how bad at something you are if you don't just go for it. Sometimes you just got to go for it. So, welcome to my channel. And if you tuning in or if you go along later on and watch it, I just want to say thank you for the privilege of your time. So this is my inaugural video. Never done anything like this before. So there's no better place to start this thing off than the NFL. You know, we're just a few hours from the season kickoff between the Falcons and the Eagles. So I'm gonna start this off. We're gonna talk about the NFL. As you can see, Cowboy fan. So we're gonna talk. I'm gonna talk about the Cowboys, the good, the bad, and the ugly. All right, and then from there, after I come up to speed from the end of the season on up to now with these Cowboys, then I'm gonna do some week one picks and season predictions. So let's get to it. I'm gonna go back to the draft. Okay, the Cowboys draft. I really like the Cowboys draft this year. Um, I gave it a A minus. Um, my issues with the draft was, well, every position that they picked in, I felt that it was the proper pick for that position. And so for that last pick they had in the fourth round, the compensatory pick, um, essentially that was a fifth round pick. But and I don't have nothing against Dalton Schultz, but I feel like that pick right there should have been a safety because you got Rico, you got Swain, and you got Blake. So you have those three young tight ends that never seen any time, and I just feel like you shouldn't have added another tight end to that mix. You could have got somebody undrafted free agent, or you could have got a yeah, undrafted free agent, or a free agent. So I didn't like that pick. And my only other thing with the draft was the first round pick. Now I like Vanderish. Don't get me wrong, but when I had my draft notes, and some of you that really are deep in the Cowboys, I've been a Cowboy fan for over 40 years. So yeah, I had to just tell my age. But so I be doing little draft cards. So I had notes. Rashid Evans, he was the linebacker from Alabama. The only thing with those two linebackers, Vander Ish and Rashad Evans, it was when you read the scouting report, Rashad Evans, he it said he diagnosed things very quickly and he get to it. And basically it said Vander Ish like to avoid the contact with his speed. So you getting a linebacker. So you drafting a linebacker and he had the grade of outrunning the contact to avoid it versus somebody that take it on. I felt like Rashad Evans was the best pick for that position, but I love that they addressed the linebacker in the defense with the first pick. And I hope Leighton Vander Esch is everything that they expect him to be. Because when Mr. Sean Lee get injured, our defense can't afford to just look basically inept. So that's about the draft. So that's the good. So I give him an A minus on the draft. Now, this is not bad, but you had some retirements this year. You had a retirement. You had Jason Witten. And I'm gonna give my opinion. It's not a bad thing, but Jason Witten wasn't showing no indication of retiring. I don't think. This is my opinion. I really think that this happened. It really don't matter. But I think when he came in for the volunteer OTAs on a voluntary basis, I just think that the coaches talked to him and said, basically told him that, you're not going to get 100% of the snaps at tight end this season. We got to start working these young guys in. And I don't think Mr. Witten was trying to hear that. So he got that job at Monday Night Football and he retired. That's just me thinking. I have no facts behind that, but it don't even matter. He had a great career, first ballot Hall of Famer, and thank you, Mr. Jason Witten. Enjoy your retirement. Okay, so the next couple of things I'm gonna speak on real quick is kind of ugly. All right, the Dez Bryant situation. Dez Bryant, I feel how he feel. He was screwed. I feel like he was screwed. He feel like he was screwed. He was screwed. At the end of the season, I feel like the Cowboys knew that they was done with Dez Bryant. I really feel like they knew they was done with Dez Bryant. So right at free agency, why couldn't you cut him and just let him go? And I say that to say this, to go back to last season. I believe his situation and Tony Romo's situation are similar. I believe that they are similar. Tony Romo, he loved football. So coming into the 2017 off season, Tony Romo, I believe that he still wanted to play football. But because the Cowboys, they knew they was done with him. You weren't gonna pay no backup, no 10, $15 million. They knew they was done with him. They knew because his recent injury history, he he wasn't worth a draft pick. He was not worth a draft pick at that point in time because he done came off a bad stretch of games. I think it was like 4 or 5 games, including that Seattle game, the preseason game. It was a stretch of like 4 or 5 games that he'd had three season-ending injuries that he needed surgery. So at that time, he wasn't worth a draft pick. And the Cowboys should have just cut him outright. And I believe that he would have got signed and still been playing. So you get into this pattern of the owners and the management. Um, they basically mistreating players. Once they done with you, then they want you to be done. Basically, that's what I'm saying. They don't want no more the Marcus Ware situations where you leave, then you go and you go win the Super Bowl. And that's not for them to try to control. You know, be fair to your players. So the season before last, Romo, and then this season, Dez Bryant. I really didn't particularly like the way that went down. But having said that, Dez Bryant, um, as a 8-year pro, 7 8 year pro, you said some things in interviews and stuff that could have been a turn off for other teams. There's no way in the world that 8 years into your career you should be talking about some um, you gonna be ready. This I'm paraphrasing. I don't have the exact quotes. It's nowhere 8 years into your career you talking about you got your mind right now, your mind right now, and you've been going through some things and um, all this and all that, like making it seemed like he was making excuses um, for decreasing your play. So that would turn owners off. You mean to tell me? I mean, they probably thinking you not no rookie. You mean to tell me that 8 years in your career, you know you going through some things and like it's affecting you on the field. But anyway, so but you said some things too, and basically, even though they screwed you, you have to take ownership of your own career. That's how I feel. He should have took ownership of his own career, like Orlando Scandrick. So you should have been watching that brother. He knew the writing was on the wall. He knew the writing was on the wall. He knew they got younger at cornerback. He probably knew he was gone. He didn't sit around and let them unfairly drag him out onto the summer, onto OTAs, onto training camp, and kick him to the curb, and then he wouldn't have an opportunity, a fair opportunity to get a job. So he demanded his release. He got released, and he's working today. He went to the Skins first, and then he ended up with the he's with the Chiefs. He made the 53-man roster with the Chiefs. So at some point you got to take ownership of your own career, seeing what's going on around you, and to be determined not to let that happen to you. Because Scandrick, on the other hand, he wasn't going to let what happened to Lucky Whitehead happen to him. See, you getting this history, this ugly history of these things that the Cowboys doing, and it's been kind of a turnoff where they knew they was done with Lucky Whitehead a couple of seasons ago. And if they didn't know, once they drafted Ryan Switcher, then they know he was gone. But they still kept him. They still kept him. Took him to OTAs, about to go to training camp. And what happened? Some incident where somebody used his name, his ID, then they cut him, which they really should have cut him at the end of the season so he could try to get another job. But they drug him out, knew they was going to cut him anyway. But then they cut him about that incident. And then they looked stupid because it wasn't even him. So that backfired on him. But anyway, that's enough about that. But what really ticked me off this off season about the Cowboys and ownership was them speaking to this flag controversy. Okay. I looked at hours and hours and hours of Cowboys film, the beginning of the games and whatnot at the different stadiums, and just hearing from people. The Dallas Cowboys never kneeled. None of the players never kneeled. So this summer you had Jerry Jones talking about his players ain't gonna kneel. Then Stephen Jones talking about if they want to be a cowboy, if they want to be a cowboy, they not gonna kneel if they want to be a cowboy. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what he said. If they want to be a cowboy, they're not gonna kneel. I'm like, come on, who y'all trying to impress? Who y'all playing politics to? Nobody on your team never kneel anyway. Nobody on your team never kneel anyway. And y'all out here on 105 the fan and this in these interviews just keep on bringing up the I guess you trying to impress the chief executive of the country disrespecting your players because nobody since Colin Kaepernick started the kneeling in 2016 from all the videos and all the personal accounts that I got, none of the Cowboys never kneeled. In fact, the only time that they kneeled is when you, Jerry, and Stephen Jones took them to the middle of the field in Arizona and kneeled with them. That's the weekend after the chief executive said these players, I'm paraphrasing, these players kneeling and um, I will fire them son of a bitches and make them get out of our country. I mean, shit, they been whatever that means. I mean, they born in Colorado and Texas and Ohio, but make them get out of the country like they foreigners. But anyway. But yeah, none of the Cowboys never kneel. And for y'all to disrespect y'all players like that, that was unfortunate. That really turned me off. That really made me get into football late. Because after that, I wasn't even paying attention to football. But because they said something political, I'm not gonna do something political, or I be political. Yeah, I didn't get that, did you? Well, anyway, I support the players, the young players, all these players that been drafted, and the Cowboys got a lot of young talent on the team, and I support them. I'm down with the players. I have no respect for the managers because the way they disrespect the players, talking up something that no one on your team was doing anyway, talking up kneeling, and no one on your team was kneeling. I have zero respect for upper management, and I'll just leave it at that. Okay, so preseason 0-4, and preseason is preseason. I know, but when you look at preseason games, ladies and gentlemen, preseason is all about your depth, I believe. So some of these teams that were scoring and scoring and scoring in preseason, I think that said they got a little bit of depth, more depth versus the Cowboys wasn't able to move the ball that much this season, like last season. I mean, Cooper Rush was scoring last season in the preseason, and he didn't look too good. But we got some injuries, and hopefully, hopefully everything, um, everybody be ready to play. So that's my Cowboy talk coming from the end of the season up to now. Just I don't appreciate the flag stuff, the non-issue that they made an issue. I don't appreciate how you can't let these players go. Just let them go instead of basically you dragging them out like you don't even want them to have a job. I call it the Marcus Ware syndrome. He left and won a Super Bowl, so you don't want no more your good players. Your good players even getting jobs. I think that's unfair. So that's my Cowboys talk for week 1. Well, that's my Cowboys talk. So let's go into picks. Let's go into the picks for week one. All right. Tonight, NBC, the kickoff of the NFL season, the 2018 NFL season. You got the Philadelphia Eagles and the Atlanta Falcons. And I'm not picking against Philly because I'm a Cowboys fan. They got a lot of injuries, and I got something else in store for the Falcons. You'll see a little bit later. But I'm Eagles got injuries. Um, Nick Foles, even their quarterback, banged up. He had a shoulder problem. He ain't taking no hits in that preseason, so you really don't even know where he is physically, and he's not consistent. He got on a hot run and propelled them to the Super Bowl, but I mean, we don't know if he's consistent. If he's consistent, then the Eagles gonna be dangerous like they was last year. If he's not consistent, they're gonna struggle. Coming out the gate, they're gonna struggle. And if Wentz come back, he's not gonna be right. It's gonna take him some time. So Philly fans, y'all gonna have a long season. But for this game, I'm going with the Falcons. Okay. Next game, we on Sunday, 1 o'clock. Buffalo at Baltimore. I'm going with Baltimore. Sunday, 1 o'clock. Pittsburgh at Cleveland. I was thinking about this game as an upset special, but I can't do it. Even without Le'Veon Bell, I can't do it. Pittsburgh will beat Cleveland in Cleveland. Next game, 1 o'clock Sunday, Cincinnati at Indianapolis. I'm going with Cincinnati on the road. Sunday, 1 o'clock, Miami and Tennessee. Go with Tennessee. Go with Tennessee on the road in Miami. San Francisco and Minnesota. I'm not drinking the San Francisco Kool-Aid. And welcome back, Davin Cook. Minnesota, all day, every day. Oh, I already did Cincinnati beat Indianapolis. By the way, welcome back, Andrew Luck. Houston at New England. Welcome back, Deshaun Watson and J.J. Watt. I don't know. I'm gonna go with the home team in this game. I mean, people have visions of Houston picking right back up where they left off before Deshaun Watson got injured. I'm taking New England at home. Tampa Bay at New Orleans. Go New Orleans. Jacksonville and the Giants. This is a hard one to call. Jacksonville on the road against New York. I'll go with Jacksonville. Don't scare you at receiver. They still got the defense. Giants, you don't know what their defense is going to be, and you got a new head coach, new offensive coordinator. Sometimes it take that stuff a while to get going. Road. I done picked three road teams over. Okay. Kansas City at the LA Chargers. Um, go LA Chargers at home against Kansas City. Washington at Arizona. Arizona. Go Arizona. Okay. That's a 425 game. Um, here we go. Sunday 425 Eastern Time. Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys at Carolina Panthers. I'm gonna tell you something. The Cowboys better be ready to play. Cowboys better be ready to play. You do all your training camp in Oxnard. There's no humidity out there. Your first preseason game in San Francisco is not. It wasn't really no humidity out there. You practice inside. You had three preseason games that were inside in Houston and two at home. The roof was never open. So you about to come over here to the Carolinas. It is 1:48 Eastern time here in Carolina. It is 100. The feel like temperature is 100 degrees. 100 degrees. I don't know what the weather pattern is for the weekend if this temperature will break, but I wouldn't count on it. I would not count on it. So, um, y'all training and practice wasn't realistic because you never had the roof open, you never played practice outdoors, and now you're gonna come here in this 100 degree heat. Don't be passing out. Don't be passing out and cramping up. But these two teams are similar. Um, good front sevens, good front sevens. Um, kind of shaky, kind of okay at the defensive back position. Both teams, and you don't know what to expect from them offensively. You know, Carolina with the new system with Noah Turner. Um, so you don't know what to expect from them offensively. They about even defensively. I'm afraid that Carolina with this heat here, and they've been practicing and training in it all summer. They've been in Greenville, South Carolina. So all parts of South Carolina and Charlotte is right down the road. It's been hot and humid. And I'm just afraid that they've been practicing in this weather and Cowboys been all cushy inside. I think that's gonna have an effect. And then another thing I'm afraid of that Ed McCaffrey, little shifty guy. Because I think it's gonna be a defensive battle. I really do. But if Ed McCaffrey can get out on the edge, get matched up, and get a big play against a linebacker, I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm gonna let you all know. I'm very, very realistic. But I'll go. It's gonna be a close game. I think. Oh, we got a new field goal kicker. I'll give it to the Cowboys. I'm gonna go Cowboys. Something like 13-10. Cowboys. Next game, Sunday, 4:25, Seattle at Denver. I think Denver is going to surprise a lot of people this season. I really do. If Case Keenum can play anywhere near what he played last year in Minnesota, I think Denver going to surprise some people because they got good receivers. They just ain't had nobody to get them the ball the last few years. Even the last year of Peyton Manning career, he got the same receivers out there. Even his last year, he was throwing ducks. But if Case Keenum can play, Denver gonna surprise some people. I'm gonna go with Denver at home over Seattle. Sunday night, welcome back Aaron Rodgers. Green Bay at home against Chicago. The whole NFC North is mad at the Raiders, and they should be letting Khalil Mack go. They have to face him twice a year. Matthew Stafford, Aaron Rodgers, and Kirk Cousins twice a year. I know they pissed. I'm gonna go. Chicago will be improved this year. I mean, they're gonna play better. I don't know if it's gonna translate into that many more wins. They're gonna play better, but take Green Bay at home on Sunday Night Football. I never liked this new Monday Night Football format. They got two games doubleheader. Jets at Detroit Monday night. Go with Detroit. And LA Rams at Oakland. It's gonna be jumping out there. It's gonna be jumping out there. But it's gonna be too much LA. Too much LA. And what's this breaking right here? Um Steelers won't rescind franchise tag for Bell. I thought it was a honor code in the NFL where when guys was having contract issues or they was trying to get paid, other players kind of stayed out of it, so to speak. I thought that was the case, but I didn't like how Pittsburgh offensive lineman was speaking up towards Lev Bell, basically saying, "Get on in here." I didn't particularly like that. Could you imagine this? Rams admitted they tried to trade for defensive end Khalil Mack. Ooh, could you imagine that? Khalil Mack, Adamkin Sue, and Aaron Donald on the same line. Wow, that'd have been terrible. That'd have been terrible. So let's go through the picks again, real quick. The opener, the Falcons, Cleveland, Cincinnati over Indianapolis, Tennessee over Miami, Minnesota over San Francisco, New England over Houston, New Orleans over Tampa Bay, New York over Jacksonville over New York. I'm sorry. Um, the Chargers over the Chiefs, Arizona over Washington, Dallas over Carolina, Denver over Seattle, Sunday night football, Green Bay over Chicago, first Monday night game, Detroit over the Jets, and LA Rams over Oakland on the late Monday night football game. All right. Season predictions. Some predictions. Remember I said the Cowboys should have got a safety with the that last fourth round pick. I watch. First of all, they was flirting with the idea of getting Earl Thomas. It was a safety available in that later round. Deshaun Elliott from Texas. I mean, he's no Earl Thomas, but he played at Texas, the same school Earl Thomas played at. And this past season, he had the best season as a safety since Earl Thomas. I mean, all his pass breakups and tackles and interceptions. So, I mean, he was available. And another safety I was watching, he's a part of the Pittsburgh team, Marcus Allen. That boy is bad. And I had these two on my draft card um, for Dallas. They should have gotten another safety to add depth to this safety to the defensive backs. Okay, season predictions. Start the AFC. AFC North. I might make a change here. You never know what Bell's going to do. Not saying that they don't have other running backs that can tote the load. Hmm. AFC North, Steelers. I'm going to stay with the Steelers. AFC South, Jaguars. The East, the Patriots. And the West, the Chargers. My solid AFC wildcard team is the Ravens. Okay. That's my solid. I also had the Chiefs, but I put the Broncos. Remember, I just mentioned the Broncos can surprise some people. Um, but can they surpass the Chiefs? Yes, I think they could. Um, Houston ain't gonna go from 4 wins to 9 or 10 to be no wild card team. So no. And Bengals. I don't know what they're gonna do offensively. Their defense. I could see myself putting the Broncos in the wild card over the Chiefs, but I'm keeping them. So North Steelers, South Jaguars, East Patriots, West Chargers, wild card Ravens and Chiefs. And for my Super Bowl team in AFC, the Ravens. Baltimore Ravens are gonna make the Super Bowl out of the AFC. Okay, NFC. North, the Packers. A lot of people might think I'm crazy because of Minnesota. I mean, I just can't see the Packers, Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, even though Minnesota got the defense. So I'm going Packers, North, Falcons, South, Rams, West, and the East. I'm gonna go with the Cowboys with the East. There's only one team going from this division. Each team got their own set of problems and challenges. Giants trying to adjust to a new coach, new system, and everything. Eagles got their injuries. Okay. Do you believe in Nick Foles to be consistent? And then Carson Wentz come back. He got to take hits. He got to get on track and everything like that there. So I can see the Cowboys winning, but it's gonna be ugly. If the division winner and the NFC East will only be 9-7, I think. So the Cowboys, Saints, and Vikings are your wild card. So once again, you got the North Packers, South Falcons, West Rams, East Cowboys. Wild card, Saints and Vikings. And after all this is done, your Super Bowl team from the NFC is the Falcons. We're going to have a Falcons and Ravens Super Bowl. And I got the Falcons winning the Super Bowl at the end of the 2018 season. That's my season predictions. This was my inaugural video. And if you come along later on and watch it, please subscribe. And thank you for the privilege of your time. I'll be getting back on here because in case you read the watch the video before you read the description, then I'll be coming at you with news, current events, politics, sports, social issues. If you name it, I'll talk about it because I'm not afraid to take it on. I hope to be a respectful voice speaking on the issues of the day. And as always, thank you for the privilege of your time. Until next time, YouTube.